Good Saturday morning, and welcome to Ice HCV, or Chaos HCV. I think the window came open in that greenhouse. Wonder why that happened. That's interesting. Oh my goodness gracious. You know, one thing about women, where the hell's the key? It drives me nuts. When it comes to car stuff and women, it just doesn't work. Where the hell is the key to this vehicle? So I need the key, and oh well, we got to take the Grand Cherokee. Hey, good morning there. Saturday morning. It's Saturday morning Ice Age TV conversations. Got to take the Grand Cherokee up to the dealership because the tires are replaced, which is kind of, even for me, it's hard to believe. But you know, it's a heavy vehicle. These really heavy vehicles, and my wife drives all the back roads. So that's a whole other ball game. So, but anyways, the money's been spent, and more money been spent today. That front left tire is probably need air. So my wife will meet me up there. I'm going to take and do a trash run. And it's going to take the Jeep Mojave to do that, but I can't find the key. I mean, it makes no sense to me. The key is not in the front room. My wife has her purse in there. The key's not in her purse. I mean, oh my gosh. It's just the little things, everybody. It just doesn't end as we get over here to the shop and the blah, 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 and da-da-da-da, and the dee-dee-dee-dee. And I don't have my hearing aids on because I took them off last night to go swimming. I never put them back on, which in some ways I enjoy not having my hearing aids on because you hear so much noise. That's the thing about life is there's just so much noise, everybody. Sometimes isn't silence the nicest thing in the world? Come on, Tang. Nope, you stay there. Come on, Tang. Come on there, Tang. So let me get these guys. We're kind of back to the old days. Now, Gail's calling me out. Oh, dead bird. You know what? This is the second dead bird now that, no, leave it alone, that has been in the shop. So it's weird of who's killing the birds. Let me get the little scooper thing here to throw it away in my garbage can. Oh, it doesn't end, everybody. But anyway, so Gail is calling out on how I'm not taking care of Diesel Boy's ear problem, which, you know, I've noticed his ear has been he's been shaking his head a lot, so there's no doubt. I'm going to go to Tractor Supply today. I'm going to return, don't do that, I'm going to return the collar, the close to $200 collar, so I'll get $200 back on that. I'm going to buy some ear medicine. So, anyways, it's just Entangle had the little thing hanging off his mouth, and I got rid of that. But I got rid of that yesterday before I even saw the comments there. And so here we are. So now, what the good old days, you used to watch me feed all the dogs. And you used to watch me watch them all poop in the barn. What's funny here about this, and I'm going to get some more, I don't know where my big, it's just everything, I tell you, man, I just can't keep track of all this damn stuff. It drives you nuts. I have a big bowl, and this is starting to kind of get down. Watch out, buddy. Watch out. This is kind of getting down. Now, Gail claims that Diesel doesn't eat. Well, like, he does eat. I don't know where it kind of befuddles me here for the Gail conversation is, you do realize I turned the video off, and you don't actually see every single thing that's going on in my shop. So it kind of, to me, I just kind of, I don't get it. So when you say he doesn't eat, why? Where's that? I don't understand that comment. So anyways, the tough day for the family. Very tough day for the family. My mother's celebration of life is today, and for the record, I was supposed to be in Florida today. It's a celebration of life at the Tampa Church of Christ, Northwest. And I asked my sisters this morning, is it going to be recorded? Yes. And is it going to be live? I don't think it is. But that's a great thing, it's going to be recorded because I can at least feel like I tried to be there, and some will be critical of why I'm not there. But that's not who my mother is. My mother was such a loving person. And there's just things, I have to tell you, there's things going on. You guys can't know everything. And it's very challenging running this channel when you have other participants, but they're not participants. But they're participants in my life off the screen. So for the record, I can't tell you guys every single thing that goes on in my life. Because now I'm just volunteering. It's just like me. So it would give you an example. It'd be like me knowing one of you on a personal level, and then I start sharing on my channel the dirt on you. How would you feel about that? Or I start presenting, I present a picture to you. I use you as a person that's not even on my channel, and I present to others how I feel about you or what I think of it. You just can't do that. That creates huge problems in social media. And so it's a very fine line on what you can and can't say, because now you're voicing and your views when the other person is like, but I don't want to be part of that. So that's what I'm trying to, convey here this morning is there's a lot of stuff going on that I can't share with you. Because now it's as if I'm just telling others that know me on a personal level that, oh, it's okay for me to talk about you and tell all these stories about you, when that person's like, no, that's not acceptable. So once again, I try to bring content on my channel, and there's drama on my channel. I know that. But for me not to be at my mother's celebration of life today, well, my mother was such a loving person. I can promise you, my mother and I were extremely close, very close. I was the last born child, so I was her little baby. I was a little baby boy of the family. So my mother knows. My mother knows who I am. I went out of my way. I mean, the irony to my life is I went out of my way to be with my family on a regular basis. I sacrificed things. You have no idea. They live 1,000 miles away. And I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and I did everything I could to be with my mother and father as they get older. I mean, I did everything I could to make it work. So, for the record, I'm the guy that's had the hurt like you can't believe. So once again, this is a day for my family. It's going to be extremely challenging for my father because he's going to see all the memories of my mother when she was younger, and then it's going to be a hard day. My middle sister, my dad and my middle sister, I think they're going to be the most challenged. My oldest sister, she of course, sorrow. My brother, it'll be interesting. My brother never goes to church. So is he going there? I would think he's going, but I have no idea. What my brother says is, which is true, he can't hear. So he can't hear the service. But I would imagine he's there. I don't know. I really don't know. So hearts and prayers for my mother, my mother, of course, who's passed, and so many people have been so nice to me and all, but I say to everybody, man, my mother had a beautiful life. We did everything we could. She was 92 years old, and we all were going there one day. So for anybody, of course, it's unhappiness that we've lost a loved one of my mother. But for me, in my life, I look at it as I was blessed to have such a beautiful mother that did live a very long life. And there's many stories of people out there that lost their mother or father when they were just a kid. There's many stories of adults dying when they're 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. So I was blessed to have a mother that for the most part was healthy the majority of her life. Just the last few years when her health really started to deteriorate. And that is extremely challenging. Until you have to take care of a parent, you have no idea. You have no idea how overwhelming that is. When my mother's last year of life, it was extremely, I went down, over the last few years, I went down on my way to help out the family because my sister and sisters, and brother, they were going nutty. My dad was going nutty because it was 24/7 waiting on my mother. So in so many ways, at a point in your life, you say the loss of your parent is in some ways good because they're a vegetable. I mean, So, but then at the same time, nobody wants to be wishing somebody dies, unless it's somebody you just despise and don't like, and like Iran and Israel and Russia and Ukraine. But so here we are, just on the Saturday morning conversations. And look at that Mojave. I think this Mojave looks so good. I'm not going to drive a race truck because it's so noisy and bouncy. The wife's not going to like that. So I'm not going to drive this. And this truck really needs to get the oil change. Not like how Corporal Busa reached out this morning. Didn't make me feel so guilty for being lazy to change my own oil in this truck. But for the most part, most of my vehicles go to dealership because I have them under service contracts. And until you do this on your own, you drain 8-9 quarts of oil. Where are you putting that? What container are you putting that in? Yeah, I have containers sitting here in my shop that have oil in it where I got to go to the freaking recycle dump where my good friend Fred, I just give it to him for his shop to run his heater in the winter months. But the whole point is, it's a project. And then rotating the tires, that'll be a major project if I want to do that. So forget it. If I spend $200, at the end of the day, I guarantee I'll spend 60 to 70 to 80 just buying my own oils and filter. So I'll leave it at that on that note. And so next Wednesday, we're going to get that in. And I'm just like, when Corporal Boosie made a good point. He said, at least you're going to show you took it to the dealership and had it serviced. And so the irony is, he's right. So the previous oil change was down there in Florida, where I gave this to my good friend down there at Carl Flamer Ford. I let them do the oil change on that as well. So got to get my, I don't even know where all the stuff is here for everything that floats around in my shop. So I got to get the race truck out of the way so I can get up all the, part of me says maybe I just run up the road with the race truck, get rid of the garbage. That's a good idea. That's a better idea, actually. So last night I took the butterflies off. I took the stickers off. I've got a GVG 63 plate I think I'm going to put on this. But I don't know. We'll see. It's another obligation that I have to fulfill in this thing. So this thing here is, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed to stay here. Because then it would come down to which makes more sense, this truck or the Jeep Mojave. You know what I mean? And that's where you start to say to yourself, yeah, well, the Jeep Mojave is such a more practical vehicle for my business and work. This is all about the style, look, and having fun. And look at the brake rotors. Those guys don't know how to paint brake rotors, do they? So those things are all, yeah, whatever. I can always just pop the wheels off and paint it. Hey, the dogs are sitting here hanging out, and they're being good. I don't know where Gypsy ran off to on that one. So, yeah, so that's what I'll do. The wife's not ready yet. I'll run down real quick and do the donations for all the garbage and everything else. And, all right, let me one-hand this thing if I can. Oh, this thing's so heavy. Woo! Now, where's Gypsy Baby? Gypsy Baby! All right, so right now, the dogs, I think the dogs look really good. One thing about dogs is, these dogs aren't fat. At one point, I thought Diesel was going to be a little fat. So, ate some food. They ate some food. So, they ate what they felt. Oh, there goes. Yeah, so they're just kind of doing their own thing, so that's a good thing, right? All right, so here, grab the trash. Not a lot of trash. There is, but there isn't. If I won't be able to do that. Yeah, so at some point I'll just shut the hell up, and and not really a long morning conversation. And I can't even hear without my hearing aids, so I don't know if my shoe is squeaking. And so it goes on today. I don't know. It's just one of those it's a lazy day Saturday because of the rain. So one thing's for sure, if you're a huge motorcycle enthusiast, like the Vinny man up there in Pennsylvania, you're totally not happy. Because we have been having rain like every weekend. You watched last Sunday how I drove in rain I didn't even think when I left here it would be like that. I figured I would run into rain, and then I would drive out of it. I was blown away last Sunday how I literally drove into the rain, and it never ever gave up, and it downpoured all day long. So the whole point is, do I want to do that again? Hell no. Hell no. So really what I'm trying to get across here is, if you're a serious motorcycle enthusiast, it's yet another Saturday, maybe yet another weekend, it's raining, and the idea of jumping on a motorcycle just isn't the greatest thing to do. So the Harley-Davidson owner, Joe Bailiff, they did a obituary on him. He leaves behind 4 kids. I think 2 of his own and 2 from his wife that he married. And those 2 met. And they used to actually act like a gym, a boxing gym or a gym. And so, sad story. Family lost, the dealership lost the owner that ran the dealership. Family lost the dad who managed the family. So you can only imagine. You can only imagine where those people are today. Where the young children and the wife, no more Joe. No more Joe. And that's why I say we can all look at, the Iceman's got dire straits, financial problems. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, come on. And that's the irony of life. If the dire straits of finances were so radical, then I can set up a GoFund account and everybody will donate money for me to get out of the situation. Do you think people would do that? Do you think if I reached out and I said, I want a GoFundMe account and can we raise $500,000, $300,000 to get my financial havoc back in place? How do you think that'd be taken? If I thought that would work, I would do it. But I think I get a lot of backlash because people are like, how does this work, dude? You go right off the credit system, and then you screw the credit system, and then you cry the blues, and now you want us to help pick up the pieces, and you want me to give you money for your frivolous, really shameful lifestyle on how you just waste so much money and how you've screwed so many others on your bad decisions. So I don't think that would get much traction. But if I told you I had cancer and I had no life insurance and I needed $300,000 to $500,000 to keep me alive, how do you think that would be looked at? That would be looked at a totally different type of emotion. I can promise you I would get money. Now, would I ever get big money? I don't know. But I can promise you people then would pull money out of their pocket and say, man, let's help this guy. He has no insurance, blah, blah, blah. And if we can run up enough money, this guy can get the operation to save himself and be saved in life. That emotion and that thought process would make sense in some ways. As long as as long as I was some drug abuser, alcoholic, whatever it is. It's like this guy just had a run of bad luck. Just like people that die, people go put GoFundMe accounts up for just the funeral costs. That's one reason my mother was cremated. It's just too expensive. Yeah, jerks. Hey, stop it! What are you guys doing? So to die today, you got to be rich to go buy a burial plot at a nice cemetery. How much is that today? Is that $50,000, $100,000? Depends where you live. How much is the actual funeral costs? Yeah, I would have to say honestly today, to buy a plot and then to have the conventional funeral, not be cremated, I would say you're at $100,000. I would say very conservative, 50 to 75 grand. So you'd have to go out and borrow money. My family would have to go out and borrow money just to do all that. And then should my father pass down the road and do it all over again? The sale of my parents' property would just go to pay for the funeral and cemetery costs. This is real stuff, and that's what I say. Some people go through the process of not being cremated. Cremated is a much easier, more efficient way to leave this physical world, less expensive. Who's going to come visit your gravesite? Would you just rather have your urn there with you in your life, with your spouse, whoever may have passed in your life? Right there, you can take it with you. Sincerely, I'll tell you straight up, I can guarantee you, most people never go visit the cemetery. They don't. I see this. I see this. I mean, so especially if you move. So if your father or mother die in Virginia and you're moving to California, God forbid, do you really think that those person's flying back to the cemetery every month to visit the cemetery? No, it doesn't happen. So in so many ways, being cremated probably is the better gig for you in the end of the day, but everybody has their own preference on how that works out. But really the gist of the conversation is, I'm just sharing with you how it shows you how we operate in life and how we can think about how this benefits somebody and it's right to do that versus, like I said, for myself, hey, let me set up a GoFundMe account to call it social media hardships. It'll be called the social media hardships that the Iceman created upon himself, trying to be a big social media star, and he never made it. And meanwhile, he accumulated so much debt trying to give the social media entertainment that let's give this guy some money. And once again, I would honestly say that hey, prove me wrong. I'd love to hear somebody say, you know what? I think you should do that and get people to donate to your fund to help pay all the legal bills and legal debts that I now have on my doorstep because of me trying to be the social media guy that has all this stuff. And once again, I'm no fool to reality. I think most people would laugh their ass off. I really do. All right, that's it. I got to go to work. Not really. I got to go to the trash, get back home, get the wife, get the Cherokee up the road, get in the shop and work on it, then eventually just go back and get it. Blah, 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 blah. So stay tuned for more Ice Age TV adventures. God bless.